You two, the reason why you're here is because of your background, and that's why you're having this conversation, talking about your time here and your experience at Catawba. I'm set and rolling here. So can you come down this way? Just everybody shift one step, fellas.
Yep.
Sure. Perfect, perfect. A and B camera feel good?
The other day.
Just the other day. First of all, gentlemen, tell me, over the years, how have the students really affected you, shaped your time here, impacted your life? Pastor, what do you think about your connection to Catawba?
I'm all about students. I was asked when I took this job, they wanted to know my philosophy, and my philosophy was very simple. The most important person in the classroom is the student. I don't think that's changed. I think that's still the case with Catawba College. We still put the student first.
I agree. You know, students are the reason we're here.
And so it really is that like eye-opening to learning where our students are, and then the joy of getting to kind of walk with them in all that life will hold.
You know, learning takes place as a result of many things that come together at the right time and in the right way. And I feel that happens here a lot.
Because you have so much support from not only your peers, but also your faculty. And that confidence that a student leaves Catawba with, I think, is one of the #1 driving factors, superpowers, when they enter their adulthood and the rest of their life.
It's a big world, and they can do whatever they want to in it. Because of Catawba, they realize that they can succeed and be successful.
When I was at Catawba, it helped me mentally, it helped me emotionally, it helped me physically, and it helped me spiritually. You know, and then from those four, I got to have these wonderful relationships that a lifetime.
And to realize how, yes, some things are different, obviously, but how much so many things are the same. The things that you and I have talked about, the way the community cares for one another, the value of traditions, just everyone rooting for one another. And those things haven't changed.
I hope that students in future years still get the sense of community here, a strong sense of community here, and they leave feeling like they have a family.
So many programs, sports teams say we're family. Yeah, this was a family, and it'll always be family. So when we come back to see any of y'all guys, it's like you're seeing a long lost loved one.
That's what my mom really and my dad were really excited about, the fact that not only were you guys talking about the football side of things, you were talking about the academics, you were talking about the home life, you were talking about, you know, faith, family, football, and just being not great football players, but great men.
This is Catawba College. There was a time when Catawba said, Catawba is your place to be. Heck, it was my place to be from the moment I walked on the campus. And you know what? 20 years of retirement, it's still my place to be.
Now welcome Dr. Megan Flocken, Assistant Professor of Philosophy and Chair of the Religion and Philosophy Department.
Hi. I was asked to say some things about thrive. Thriving is key to an education at Catawba College. And I want to frame this talk about thriving with a note about flourishing, what I think is a fitting synonym with a rich philosophical history. For example, 2,300 years ago, Aristotle described the good life, or eudaimonia, as flourishing. Though the word uses the Greek prefix for good, eu, like euphoria or Eucharist, and the root daimon, or spirit, Aristotle simply didn't mean that happiness or good spirit is the key to the good life. Flourishing is about cultivating the skills to live well, and that means becoming who you are. I use Aristotle's frame here to suggest that flourishing or thriving is related to our determination of who we are and where and why we think we should be going. Our determination of who we are and where and why we think we should be going is based on our values. Our values are what we find important and meaningful, and our values are sometimes hidden from view or so taken for granted that they may seem invisible. So deciphering what our values are, what we find important and meaningful, often takes a bit of work. It takes thinking, reflective feeling, exploration. Sometimes what we thought was important and meaningful, upon deeper inspection, turns out not to be so. For example, when I went to college for the first time, I thought that my academic standing in my classes was of utmost importance. My high school teachers certainly trained me to think so. Once I took some time to examine what was important and meaningful to me, I realized that engagement in and service to my communities was as or even more significant to me than how I was learning in and contributing to my classes. When I deciphered my values, not just those I inherited from my past advisors and situations, I joyously threw myself into roles not only inside of, but also outside of my classes, like clubs, student government, and collaborating with others to build a free bike program for the campus neighborhood. I didn't stop treating my in-class work as significant, I just made choices to also prioritize the extra or co-curricular. I gave myself the space to become who I am, not who or what someone else expects me to be. Becoming who I am, many philosophers from Aristotle's ancient thinking to present day consider this to be the very litmus test of flourishing or thriving. This story about me brings up another point about values. They change over time. So the project of deciphering your values is not a one-time achievement. Think of it as a sort of existential general maintenance. Schedule a check-in with your values at consistent intervals, and also at times when you're faced with an acute decision. So briefly, how do you thrive? Get to know your values, enact choices that prioritize them. This brings us to another important aspect to consider about thriving. You can't thrive in a vacuum. You are always already in a context, a situation. You are you, in part because of the groups, the institutions, and the worlds you inhabit. But just because you are always already here or there, that is in a context or a situation, doesn't mean that you are thriving. One way to know if you are thriving in your context, your situation, is your sense of belonging to these groups, institutions, and worlds you inhabit. To say in another way, when you feel out of step with the world, it might indicate that you are not thriving. But what does it mean to belong? At some moments, what it means to belong might seem obvious, but philosophy teaches us that which is obvious needs interrogation, just like that which seems unknown to us, maybe even more so. Today, I'm suggesting that belonging means that you find or find yourself among places and spaces that align with, foster, and support your values. Belonging in this way is a feeling of coherence, that you make sense in and fit in with your groups, institutions, or world's sets of values. In summary, individuals flourish or thrive when they get to know their values and enact them, and when they belong to groups, institutions, or worlds that align with, foster, and support their values. So let's look to you. Your question might be, can I thrive as part of Catawba College? To answer your question, you'll need to decipher your values and also Catawba College's values to see whether you can find alignment between them. And good news, Catawba College established 4 pillars as a guidepost for our set of values here. These pillars are character, the discernment of right and wrong, and the courage to act on its behalf. Character is the cornerstone of who I am, even when no one else sees. When you prioritize the discernment of character, you thrive at Catawba College. Catawba College also values culture, meaning encounters with who we are, understanding that I am within a context. Let us not forget the importance of our communities who shape us, challenge us, and allow us to change or lean in to who we are in supportive and constructively challenging ways. When you connect with and contribute to our culture, you thrive at Catawba College. Service is another pillar or value. Thriving members of Catawba College engage in servant leadership. Service is inherently other-directed to the others in our own community and to those who aren't, who are different from me. Service asks us to lead by listening and remaining open to respond with compassion for others. When you lead by serving others, you thrive at Catawba College. Scholarship is the fourth pillar or value of Catawba College. The word comes from school, which implies learning, and it might sound counterintuitive, but the value of learning also requires an embrace of failure and a willingness to reflect on those failures to do better next time. In this way, learning leads to change and discovery, literally the opening up of worlds. When you truly enact learning, you reach for support in your failures. You demonstrate an openness to change and an interest in discoveries, and you thrive at Catawba College. Since Catawba College makes clear what its set of values are, this clarity can serve as a blueprint for that sense of belonging when or if you study, live, or work here. And as you commit to deciphering your set of values, you gain insight in your ability to discover a sense of belonging and of thriving at Catawba College, whose values are character, culture, service, and scholarship. I'll close with a thought from a more contemporary philosophical thinker than Aristotle, 20th century teacher, author, and ethicist Eric Murdoch, who writes, "We humans truly manifest ourselves in the long patterns of our acts, and not in any nutshell of self-theory. Likewise, thriving is a project towards shaping those long patterns of acts that allow the members of our community to manifest themselves, that is, become who they are. This is thriving as flourishing, a combination of getting to know your values and enacting those values in our worlds in which we belong. Thriving is key to an education at Catawba College. Come thrive with us. Find your place to be, to become who you are, and see how our good goes far." Thank you.
Now welcome Dr. David Nelson, Catawba College's 24th president.
That's a lot of good. Good is shorthand. It's shorthand for the varieties of virtue and excellence that lead to well-being. At Catawba College, we know that good goes far. Let me explain. At Catawba, we have an ideal: scholarship with character and culture for service. We do scholarship, we're a college. We do so in a particular way, with character and culture, and we do so with a particular aim: for service. When we asked a group of creative people from outside the college to help us think about how to tell the story of Catawba in a compelling and effective way so that more people would know about who we are, and so that more students would have an opportunity to come and receive an excellent education here, they spent considerable time visiting with us. They talked with students, with faculty, with staff, and alumni who have experienced Catawba from the inside. They listened to what people outside the college think of us as well. And for all the storytelling that they are helping us to do, we asked them to conceive a tagline that sums up the remarkable story of Catawba College. They came back to us with a few ideas, which we then took to various groups of Catawbans. Now, of course, people had different opinions, but one tagline rose above the rest. And it was no surprise to our friends at Mind Power who were helping us, because it was also what resonated with them as they got to know us. They saw that there is so much good that occurs on this campus and emanates from here, that good goes far is an apt way to tell our story. I couldn't agree more, because I understand good to be shorthand for the varieties of virtue and excellence that lead to well-being. The to it end, the goal, the aim, is well-being, the kind of flourishing and thriving that Dr. Flocken just spoke about. Now, the English term well is a way we refer to the good. How are you? I'm good. Now, my mother was fussy about grammar, and she taught us to answer with the adverb. So not I'm good, but I'm well. You see? We say well-being, not good being, in American English, though perhaps that could change. Languages evolve all the time. But the point remains that the aim of what we do here at Catawba is the well-being of people and the common good of all, like our ideal says. Scholarship, done in a particular way, with character and culture, and toward a particular end for service on our campus, in our community, our state, our nation, and around the world. When we commit to virtue and to excellence in our service, that helps bring about well-being for our neighbors as ourselves. And when we serve in that way, Catawba's good extends well beyond this campus. It goes far. Now, I've been asked, why not say best or great? Good questions. When we say good in good goes far, we mean it as a noun, not as an adjective, and not as a comparative. Now, some of us grew up with good, better, best, right? You recognize that, and those of us of a certain age know it from the department store Sears. So you could buy a good socket set, it basically did the job, or a better one, or a best one, and the better and best came with comparatively higher prices, and for Sears, comparatively higher profits, though apparently that did not do enough to keep Sears thriving. But when we say good goes far, we're not being comparative. We're being declarative. Good itself goes far. We at Catawba are participating in the good, as are so many others around the world. It's bigger than us. And why not great? Because after all, we've heard the business guru, Jim Collins, tell us that we should go from good to great. We shouldn't settle for the good, we should strive to be great. But we don't say great goes far, because you can be great without ever being good. You can be great and good, surely, but one can be great in the sense of possessing much power and riches while utterly lacking virtue and excellence. Greatness isn't always good for us or for those around us. And history is replete with people, groups, and nations that were great and not at all good. But at Catawba, we aim to be better than great. We aim to be good. Scholarship with character and culture for service. Our ideal isn't simply about what we do, it's about who we are and how we do what we do and why we do what we do. Our ideal is inextricably tied to a moral imagination that aims for good. That shorthand that explains all the varieties of virtue and excellence that lead to well-being. Good people doing good work on our campus, in our community, and wherever Catawbans go. And indeed, at Catawba, good goes far. We're all here today because we've been impacted by the good of Catawba College. So many people before us have invested in this place. For 100 years in Salisbury and some 75 years up in Catawba County, we've inherited much from those people. A rich liberal arts tradition, a legacy of caring deeply for our students, the cultivation of genuine sense of vocation, of stewardship of our natural resources, and a commitment to forming good citizens. Many of those people's names we don't even know, but their good made a tangible difference that has made its way all the way to us. Their good has come far. And now, it's our time. It's our moment. We have a sincere sense of stewardship of this campus, of our financial resources, and especially of our students. It's up to all of us to carry this good into the next generation. And that's why we're launching this campaign for the future of Catawba College and calling it Where Our Good Goes. That good can't just be measured in dollars. It's measured in lives changed, a community strengthened, and good extending from this campus to make the world more like the place we all want to live. This campaign isn't just about dollars, it's about impact. The impact that our participation in the good has on Catawba's future. So we don't have a dollar goal. Our goal is to engage as many folks as we can in what's happening here at Catawba College, whatever the size of the gift. Our goal is for as many people who have been impacted by Catawba's good to get engaged and pay that good forward. How has Catawba College and its good impacted you? And how, I wonder, do you hope that Catawba's good will impact others? Join us as we imagine where Catawba's good goes from here.
At Catawba College, mornings begin with connection. Friends meeting over coffee. Mentors guiding with wisdom. Students preparing for the day ahead. For nearly 2 centuries, Catawba College has been more than a campus. It's a compass, guiding purpose, igniting passions, connecting generations. Have you ever stopped to wonder what connects us across generations? Is it a shared place filled with memories and milestones? Or perhaps a shared purpose? Teaching, mentoring, inspiring lives? What does it mean to carry Catawba's spirit forward? To reach back, to help those coming up as much as you're continuing to forge confidently ahead. At Catawba, good begins with curiosity. It's nourished by mentors who plant seeds of discovery, seeds that bloom into lifelong journeys. What drives you to teach? What legacy do you hope to leave behind? Our good reaches beyond walls, into communities near and far. Sustainability, innovation, service. These aren't just ideas here. They're our daily actions. How do we measure our impact? By every student who graduates ready to lead, every alumni who gives back, every life touched by our collective work. So we ask, where does our good go next? At Catawba, students have always done more than just learn. They thrive. Here, experiences extend far beyond classrooms. Internships, community projects, and global opportunities shape confident leaders, thoughtful innovators, and compassionate citizens. What does success look like to you? How has Catawba prepared you for the world beyond these grounds? These stories, these achievements, they are the true measure of our purpose. Together, We determine where our good goes.
Good afternoon. I am Meg Dees, and I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President of Development here at Catawba College. This is an incredible moment here at Catawba. Today marks the public launch of our comprehensive campaign, Where Our Good Goes. This campaign is about more than numbers. It's about people. It's about the impact we can have on our students, our faculty and staff, our community, and our future. I want to take a brief moment to recognize someone who is not here with us today, one of our campaign co-chairs, Deborah Messenger. Deborah had a prior commitment today, but she has been a tremendous leader and a champion of this effort. And now it is my honor to introduce our partner in this work, a proud alumnus, trustee, and the other campaign co-chair, Greg Alcorn.
Thank you. Thank you. Used to be, you think about the day is like Camelot, you know, because it's so cool to be here right now. So I'll say today is like Catawba. It's just terrific. I'm here to share the numbers with you as far as the capital expenditures and some of the new buildings and renovations that are world-class right now. That's a total of $90 million invested in doing that. It's just an incredible amount of money, and you can see it every single day. It is taking where we live and where we learn from being terrific to being world-class, and I can't wait to see that happen. I have three extraordinary gifts to talk about today. One is about this building right here where we are, and it's a challenge gift from the Robertson Foundation of $2.5 million to renovate where we're sitting right here, and that's just terrific. Looking forward to that. The second one I have is from Newman Park, and we have two $1 million anonymous gifts. That adds up to $2 million, Catawba graduate. And that takes us to the second phase, and the second phase will include adding the Gantt stands. Not grandstands, but Gantt stands. So that's very nice. Yeah. And the third one is from 71 graduate Butch Schultz, who, like me, married up, and Butch, his wife, bequests almost $3 million to Catawba. And that's great news. You add all three of those up, plus the challenge, that's $10 million. I put that under the category of awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. These are just a few of the extraordinary gifts we've received to date, and it's really just the beginning. But I also want to stress that where our good goes is not only about large gifts. It's about all of us. Every gift of every size makes a difference for our students, our faculty, our programs, our teams, our community, and our future. When we leave here today, you'll have the chance to see firsthand the goals of this campaign and the impact that your gifts will have. As you exit the theater, please explore the tables and displays set up in the lobby area, in the Peeler Crystal Lounge, and in the Brady Courtyard. You'll meet students and faculty and staff, athletic coaches, and other people sharing their research, their projects, and their stories. We also hope you'll visit our display that's right out here in the hall that plays tribute to 100 years of Catawba in Salisbury. We also hope that later today you'll join us for food, fellowship, and football for today's tailgate and football game. If you don't have a ticket, you can get a complimentary one right out front from our registration table. And parking is going to be a little challenging, so know that we have our Catawba Go buses that will pick you up from here or even the Food Line parking lot and drive you down to the tailgate. So we hope you will take advantage of that. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to our band and our cheerleaders and our choir and to all of you who are here today. And I just have to say a special thank you to the development staff who worked really hard to put this event together.